What is going on now? Hold on a minute. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, weird stuff. So I had some stuttering and some things, and I guess YouTube decided just to can the stream, but then it automatically started a new one. So sorry about that. So there's going to be, two pop-ups. Two pop-ups. Can't be helped. So we'll just have to go with it. The village alarmed. There's one messenger away to the Lord. Lens. Okay. So the site name says Alfbert plays a tune, draws the children away. The village alarm sends a messenger to the local lord. Yeah, so what's this say? Strange lights in the hills prevent their immediate. Yeah, I'm wondering, because this is what I gotta wonder, because I feel like in the story, it's just like they run to the city, they run to the town gates, but then don't seem to pursue them. But they must, because some of the kids knew where the. But in my case, I don't know if I want them going. I guess I could have them go into a hill or a cave in the hills. I guess so. A couple things, right? I have one kid. In the original story, there's one kid that's kidnapped, and that one kid is kind of the key to the ultimate antagonist plans. Now I'm thinking, okay, there's an incident with multiple kids. So one idea I had was, well, they have to test to see which of the kids is going to be fruitful. So this becomes okay, he gathers a bunch of kids, and then, no, you're the kid that's going to work, and the rest of you kids scram, kind of thing. That could be one. Whoops. Let me just get this over here. That could be one way to do it. I'm not sure. I'm kind of torn. Another thing I was thinking is kind of prepping that one kid. So you have the one kid and then these other kids. And part of this with the one kid is, in a sense, readying them by having them do some mischief on the other kids. I don't know which one of those is better. But first order of business is, why don't the parents follow the kids? Because you imagine, I think, as every parent is like, would be thinking, I'm not. If I know, like, if you imagine, like in our modern world, somebody gets kidnapped. The parents, if it's happening in a situation where the parents can respond, like you're in the park and somebody grabs your kid and starts running with them, which unfortunately has happened. The parents running after them. And to the extent if the person gets away, it's because they outrun or something happened, right? Something happens to stop the parents from chasing. But the parents not going to, if they're all in kind of the power to do something. So you have someone showing up, playing or on a fight. I don't know what. I think a fife. I think of a drum is a fife, a drum, whatever. Playing an instrument and grabbing all the kids and bailing. Why don't the parents follow? So I'm thinking or why don't the parents pursue? Maybe there's another enchantment. There's an additional enchantment that paralyzed them. Maybe there's some additional enchantment that paralyzed these other families. Family members stopped them from pursuing. But they could go the other way. So they send somebody, Lord, the parents don't pursue because there's some enchantment. And it doesn't have to be, because the party's only going to be getting there after the fact. They're not going to be there, so it doesn't have to be something that I guess I don't have to worry about intervention of the players. I just need to I want to have something so that when the inevitable question is asked, it's like, well, why didn't you go after them? That they're just like, oh, we decided to send the guy 6 hours the other direction. Like this doesn't really make sense. If it takes them 3 hours to run to the Lord, I'm not exactly sure what it would be. These are all 3-mile hexes, so yeah, something on the order of, it's a couple miles, 3 miles, let's just say. 3 miles, maybe 4. So, take the road, but still, it's a couple hours. A couple hours hitting the road, following the road around, cutting up, however they're doing it. Why do you send somebody out there as opposed to just tracking the guy yourself? Well, I guess the reason is they're enchanted. But now, why did they take the kids? So there are 2 options. Why did he take the kids? One is to find the perfect match for the scheme, or to prep the target of the scheme for the work. So what's happening is and I'm going to be changing it because I'm going to be updating it. I have to make some other changes to kind of update it towards the world that it's going to exist in. But basically, as it stands now, there's a demon that's trapped, and this is not anything particularly inventive. The locks, the things, the holding this demon, trapping the demon are fading. So the demon's kind of able to sort of reach out its powers, and that's how it's affecting. That's how it turned Alfbert, this rogue acolyte, because it's reaching out, and it's kind of reaching out its tendrils and things, and it needs a host, basically, a new host. And so it's finding, and it has to be, I think somebody that there's some amount of, I believe the way the setup is that I have is that there's a bit of volunteering. You're kind of volunteered to do this thing. It can't just take over you. It needs you to say yes to the dress, so to speak. It needs you to say, like, yeah, let's do it. So it needs to find someone who's kind of in the right mental state that it can, and everything to manipulate so that it can work its magic and convince them to, join me in the dark side, kind of thing. So it could be that if we take option 1, finding the perfect match, that these kids, he's grabbing all the kids to see which one of the kids basically will make the right subject. So that kind of works. But the other one is that it is also trying to groom the kid that it wants for taking over, right? So there's this bit of it as, okay, you have the kid that you want, but you got to kind of get them ready for this, right? You need to. You're basically running a long con on them, in a sense. So you're kind of setting up the con. So either one of those would work, but I'm not exactly sure how they will work. So the first thing I had was, my original thing was that this boy kills his parents. His parents kind of abusive, and it's this kind of the damage of the abuse leads the kid to be susceptible to the demon. And so if I keep with that, which I guess I will, because I only have a couple days, only a couple days, and I have quite a bit to do, then maybe it probably doesn't make sense, because the other thing I have is the kid ended up, like I think I said, killing his parents. So there is some patricide going on. So maybe it works. Maybe it works better that he takes them out into the hills, and kind of and then able to target one. Okay, you're the one, and go back, and then the other ones he like lets wander. So maybe I'm going to go with that. I think that's going to work. So, and yeah, so I'm guess I'm going to say there's an additional right. So, okay, why you take the kids? Yeah, to find the perfect one for the scheme. The other kids were left lost in the hills. So this gives the party something to do. Because the other thing I was thinking about in this kind of game is there's kind of one thing to, to win the adventure is to at least get to the end and have this where you're with the kid and the demon, and like that's your, like you get there and there's some different ways that can play out, but that's kind of that's the end. But it's nice to get some small wins. Again, I don't know how long things are going to take to go. I'm probably going to do some kind of character generation. I have to do some kind of rules explanation, but I think for my game, it doesn't take very long. I can do it pretty quickly and kind of as things are going. So I feel like I need half an hour, I would say, to do the character generation and do the rules run through. It can be even a lot faster than that. It probably depends on if someone's doing a magic user. A magic user that I have a little bit more to cover if you're playing kind of the sorcerer type. I could probably also let someone play a priest or acolyte, which would be interesting if they did, because there's some extra. I could give some extra context in there if they wanted to. So having some other element where I can have a handful of kids that are lost, and then the party can try to track down how many kids, track down the missing kids, and then there'll be one kid that's unaccounted for. And then we have another point of, oh, he's unaccounted for. Maybe you search the house. I mean, you don't necessarily have to, but originally I had it, well, here, go search the house, and that's kind of your initial crime scene. Now it could be that scene is still there, but it's a little bit more hidden, because now it's like, okay, you find out the kid. If you round up the kids, there's one kid that's unaccounted for. Other kids will probably speak to that he left with this boy, and then maybe you come back to town, like, well, let's talk to the boy's parents. You get the kids back to the village, you're like, hey, let's talk to the boy's parents, and then you find the crime scene. Could be one, or you could bypass it. Either way is good. And that does give me, and I guess one other thing I'm liking about this is it means I have a reason, because I have all this area that I have, and granted, I'm not saying you have to bounce whole along the area. Hey, Croco. But I have this area that I'm only covering, essentially, that you're going to start here, pick up the job, you're going to go to these two places, and then theoretically head here. All this other stuff is kind of nice to have, and it's just there if you want to use this as a springboard for your own adventures, but I don't actually use it in this. This adventure really just uses, this is really just your, not even a starting point so much as it is the preamble, because when I start the game after you've done your characters, you're on the job, but I'm going to give you a little backdrop of what the job is, obviously, and then kind of put you on the road. So you don't even really visit the castle. It's like you just see it. It's that backdrop. That's that matte painting. You see the difference. You say, oh, let's go to Oxwine Castle. No, it's a silly place. And then you kind of go off. So really, but you're just doing, it's just this. But now I have a reason to put the kids somewhere in this area, leading them. And hey, you got this nice thing of the fording of the river, which is very much in the Pied Piper vein. And maybe somewhere up here is where he took the kids before kind of coming back, this way. So then if you rescue some kids up here, you bring them back to town. So I think I like that. And I'm hoping maybe that'll be enough meat. So they'll have basically, you'll have, if we're talking about, say, a 4-hour slot, you split it up into your hours. The last hour, hopefully, is the dungeon plus the confrontation, plus minus. And then you have 3 hours or say 2.5 hours of the first. Half an hour is kind of set up and, rules set up and character creation. An hour or so for kind of doing the sort of, I guess, kind of 2 hours for your investigation kind of work. I don't have it, it's kind of because it seems like a lot of time, but then there's also a lot of discussion and kind of other things, and who knows what can happen. They're wandering creatures and things like that. Croco says busy schedule. I don't know. I know that in Escape, it's split up into two, and only one party made it through the hex crawling part. The dungeon tended to be enough for a fair amount of people, and it's not a big dungeon. So when I look at this, I go, man, I don't know. I mean, that's why you do it. You run it a few times, and you get a sense of fast, slow, so on and so forth. I'm gonna have to kind of try to keep a clock going, kind of to determine. But anyway, but this will add another thing. So if I have so right now I basically have two. This will be 3 investigative locations, and this third one will have some variability. I can have a chance to have particularly potentially a wandering kind of creature in there, something dangerous. I can think about how many kids there are. This is an interesting thing too, where what I like about an Escape is you can modulate the amount of time the players have by how fast things start to go wrong in the keep. So in that adventure, this keep is basically falling down, or not falling down is the right word. It's succumbing to kind of basically a giant curse. And if you want to give the players more time, you can have the curse proceed more slowly, because this curse or the spell gone bad is really what it is. Kind of pushes the party out, or it should, because things are getting worse and it's clear that they can't stay. So it's like, we got to get out. But if you slow it down, then the party will have more time to kind of poke around. So you can kind of play around with the speed by how much you do that. So I was able to run the whole dungeon portion for Daniel and my Thursday group folks in basically an hour and a half, because I just was more like pushing. And other cons, it's been the whole 3-4 hours, because I kind of would just let them muck around more. So I can do that with the kids. I say, hey, if the kids are, maybe I'll come up with, I don't know, 12 kids. Seems like a lot to hold a bunch of different things. I probably want to come up with some kids that are kind of environmentally puzzly. Maybe one kid, maybe a kid that's just lost, a kid that's hiding, so they maybe have to try to find it. Have the footprints kind of going off in different directions, but then sort of being lost and them having to kind of figure it out. So I guess I got to think about, I guess that's kind of the next thing. So finding the kids. So first of all, if the trail of the mass of kids, and it says the initial trail is strong until into the hills. Maybe it fades. So we can do with the initial trail is basically they're following this. I guess this is interesting too, because there's a road here. So if they get on the road, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe there's another. Maybe I should have there's another crossing, but it's not as. It's not the well-known crossing. Oh. Okay, I got an idea. All right. All right, let's head back. All right, so there's yeah, uses so the initial crossing is okay, that's fine. The uses a sort of an I guess an unstable or a maybe a treacherous fording to cross the river. Maybe one child is taken by the current but rescued. They can speak to the because maybe I'll have I need a song. Spell binding song. Okay, so then in the hills there's some so you can find some clues. So we've got maybe a scrap of torn clothing. We can have what did I do too? A scrap of torn clothing, a sandal. What else? What else could be? Maybe a single shoe. A small child shoe. Let's make it. Okay. Let's grab a torn clothing. A single small child shoe. What else? What other things do kid might leave behind? Scrap of torn clothing, shoe. Yeah, I guess just some footprints. And boot prints. Yeah, I don't know. But then they'll get to somewhere. So then finally we get to the ritual sites. There'll be fire, or a recent fire. Recent fire. What else could there be? Oh yeah, and scattered. Scattered tracks of children. And then how many different kind of things? So I guess in terms of finding the children, So we have the children scattered after the ritual came disoriented and lost. So we can have one. So we can have one hidden, one in a hidden cave. One struggling to stay afloat in a quicksand. I know, what's another word for quicksand? 'Cause I know there's quicksand. It's not just sand. What? I know there's other words for it. No, it's not. Well, I have morass already. Well, maybe what is quicksand will be better. What is quicksand? I'll just bring this over here so you can see it. All right, quicksand, sinking sand. Non-Newtonian fluid. I know you can't actually sink all the way down in quicksand. I know. A tar pit. Speedy grain. Not quite like that. I know there are some, but the synonyms didn't bring me anything, unfortunately. If I go to Merriam-Webster, I don't think I really got much. As in a trap. No, I really mean as in quicksand. Quagmire. Quagmire would work. Maybe types of quicksand. Would that give me anything? Can't you get quicksand in other... What's Britannic I have? It doesn't. What if I say quicksand without sand? Did I get there? No, not kinetic sand. Thank you. Oh, no. Nope. I know there's a name. I just can't think of it. So I think... I can't think of it. It's none of these are it, but I'm just going to use Quagmire because that's what I got. All right. In a... Quagmire. I'm just going to put kind of quicksand. One is up a tree, circled by wolves. I think wolves are one of the creatures that is in that area. This area is Dunbor. Oh, that's the river, Dunbor. So, but it's in the mountains of or the hills of Mondun, the foothills of Mondun. Okay. Where would that be? Here we go. Oh, I didn't have. Did I not? Oh, I have hill country. Yeah, goats, bear, and a hill giant. Do I want to get rid of the bear and put wolves? I think I have wolves. Other places, don't I have wolves somewhere? Oh, there's wolves. Also a bear. All right. Why, a bear. And then we can have a couple of kids inside a hill giant sack. All right. I think this will work. So we got a couple of kids in a sack being taken by a hill giant. One that's up a tree, circled by a bear. One that's hidden in a cave. And the cave itself is, it's hidden, so it's hard to find. One struggling to stay afloat in a quagmire. Maybe there's a slight rotation to it. I don't know, but he's... All right. That's pretty good. I'm going to need to add some space here, though. All right. I got to... Let's see. The adventure begins at Oxwine's castle. What is known? No. I'm going to have to do... Buford. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to do a new paragraph here. Copy this. I just said not to make it strong. Thank you. And adept from, I can do this. Captivated the children of the village and led them out across the river into the hills. This would be Hex. We're going, what is this? 4.2. 4.2. Oops. Okay, so there we go. 2. I think I might leave this part out. Well, it's being known Yeah. I'm going to leave that out. And I'm going to leave this out. I don't think I actually need that. So I got the Who is St. Richard kind of sidebar. That's fine. Okay. Investigating the mystery, the village of Buford. I think I said, what did I say about the... Yeah, they were paralyzed. Right. They could not follow. Yeah. All right. The parents of the children. So let's see. How many did I say? I said, let's see. Let's say 3. Couple kids. Let's call them 3. This is 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Nope, wrong spot. 7 children followed Alfbert. Alfbert. Okay. Several. I don't know why that's not strong. Is that really not strong? Weird. Okay. All right. So 7 children followed Alfbert. All who heard the song found themselves unable to follow. Okay, 7 children followed Alfbert. All heard the song themselves. Also was able to follow. They went across a treacherous across the river at a low but treacherous crossing, treacherous spot, and then were lost to the hills beyond. Okay, 7 children. All right, I'll have to update that neighborhood spot because that's more for the clues around the mysteries, not so much the clues about or the murder, the original murder, not so much the new idea of the pipering. Okay. So now I gotta do what's That's heading 3. So let's put another heading 3. The hills. All right. Now, one of the things that I don't want it to just be a roll dice to solve, but you got to kind of lay it out there, because that's the thing with like when you're doing a lot of searches and things like that. Searching is a big part of it. There's the time versus specificity. Right? So I want to put enough in here that you could spend time, or you can find something specific. So I want to see let me see how I can put this. My preference, if I'm running the game or really playing the game, right, is I can use my brain, say, hey, I want to look around to see, like, is there anything, and then we find like this, like, say, I want to look in, is there, like, there's kind of, it's not barren hills, there's a brush and copses of trees, things like that. It's just more hilly than anything else. Like, can I want to look to see if any clothes got torn on any of the stuff as they're passing. All right, great. You find that. I look to see if there's any kind of items around, right? But I also, there's that point, like when you're searching a room in a dungeon, where you're just like, I don't know. You think to yourself, well, I don't know, so I'm just going to canvas the joint till I find something. I want to kind of encourage, I don't think I'm going to mandate in some kind of rule, but I definitely want to try to encourage people to find the clues. Right? Obviously, the downside is if they, well, what's the let me see. What's the down? So the time, right? Croco says, I guess that's where the time risk management comes in, right? And also, there is kind of a ticking clock that bad things are like these kids are in bad spots, and the longer they wait, the longer they're just kind of monkeying around with stuff, the more chances that these kids are going to get there and find remains, and not the kids, right? There's 3 kids in a giant sack that ends up going to some cave somewhere, who knows, and then they're toast. The kid in the quagmire is gonna toast. The kid in the cave, maybe not toast, sitting there, but the kid with the bear, probably toast. So we got that kind of ticking clock, right? But the other thing is, you're just getting into, well, one, you want to make sure that, and I don't know who's going to be playing, right, in terms of the classes. So I have classes that are what I call callings, right, that are more, there's one that's more outdoorsy type. I obviously want to advantage them in these kinds of things, potentially find more stuff. So I'm trying to think about, I guess ultimately what I'm trying to think about is how to work the time frame. Because I guess one action, because we're in the wilderness too, so things take longer. It's you're canvassing some section of these hills. It's not easy. You can't just do it in 5 minutes like you're looking across a plain. I mean, even then, if there's any kinds of obstructions, right, it takes time. But the bad thing is that I guess we'll have to deal with. We'll have to roll some dice because we'll just have to play out that this stuff is the kids aren't just sitting there. Like this stuff's happening to the kids while this is going on, I guess. I'll have to figure out how to. I guess I'm just sitting trying to figure out, well, how do I structure this? Okay, there are several clues that lead to the maybe I'm going to skip the ritual location. It's cold in the hills. Let me see. After arriving at a central spot, nestled within a bowl, home trails split different directions. Okay, let's do this. There are, let's see. So I said there are 7, right? There's 7. So we'll say 3 of them ran together. These 2 ran apart. Are these 3, one group of 3 running together? All right. One group of 3 running together, 3 apart, and then the boot prints. Where am I going? Over here. Three sets. No, there are one group of 3, 3 individuals, 4. 5. 5 sets of distinct tracks. Okay. One group of 3 foot tracks. 3 groups of single foot tracks. 1 stop. 1 group of 2 foot tracks. 1 is different boot track than the rest. Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. All right, so that is one group of 2 foot tracks. Can I get that onto one line? with a different boot track than the rest. All right. One group of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5. Okay, there are 5 sets of distinct tracks. Okay, lower hills of Mondon. There are 5 sets of good tracks. All right, so now, how will I need to do this? So this is about spreading out and searching. I was thinking of using that kind of hex fill method I was using before, where you can have different sort of events, and I can have 2, basically the clue and the thing, the clue and the thing, the clue and the thing. And if you find the one, you might just find one, another, or you can find one leading to the other. That's probably not what I need. I'm curious. The other thing is, will they split up or will they stay together? So if they're all searching, all right, let's see. Let's see. I don't know if 6 will do it. I have 5. Oh. No. I got to make sure. Let's see. Okay, so. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And the Dunbar. Okay. All right, I got. So if they. If the last group of foot tracks with the boot prints set boot prints. What? No. Trail is out at the, what did I call it? Dunbar River. The Dunbar River leading to Bortley Priory, which is Hex. Let's see. What hex is Bortley Priory? 4. 1, 2, 3. 4.3. 4.3. if the first group of 3 foot tracks is followed, see the hill giant counter below. I like to give a better name than that, but for now, that will work. If of the second, if the second, third, or fourth tracks followed on D6 to see where they lead. All right. I need a tableau, a tableau, tableau, tableau. No. No. What? I said a table. What is that? Yes. Don't I have a table? Okay. Okay. Yep. Cancel. That's good. Let me make sure the layers are correct. My table's on the top layer. Good, good, good. 1d6. Location. I don't know if this is gonna fit. Let me make sure this is. Okay, that's right. And then keeping the bounds. Okay. Okay. And then I can squeeze. Whoop, no. No, 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 not that. That. All right, so we have 3, right? So second, third. Oh, I could do it just like 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. Look at that. I can get rid of a couple of these. And I can center a line. Okay. So what did we say? We had 1. Good old D6 table. Yep. Can't go wrong. Well, you can, but I find it's pretty good. Okay, so. Oh, I hate when it does that. It drives me crazy. See. Lost. See the hidden cave. Hello? See the quagmire below? See the bear below. All right, so then I can just. Oh. Okay. If the first group of 3 foot tracks follows, see the hill giant, counter hill giant below. Followed. I will find the hill giant. If the second, third, or fourth foot tracks are followed, roll 1d6 to see where they lead. Why is this giving me? Yeah, no, I want the colon. Okay, where they lead. The last foot tracks is followed. Lead to Bordley Priory. Yep. So also strong. Okay. Now I need to come around to here. I got more things to put. More things to put. Do I have a heading 4? I don't. So let me make one. Yep. I probably need something else now. What is the body? What is the body thing? It's Bodo. Oh, old style. Okay, well maybe I have to do that. Go to Bodoni old style. Yeah, I think I might have to. Yeah. Okay, so what did I say first? I had the hill giants. The hill giants. The hill giant. So what is the hill giant doing? The hill giant. Oh yeah, I guess. A surly hill giant drags a sack through a winding ravine. Sack wriggles and muffled shrieks and cries. The sack wriggles and muffled shrieks and cries burst from within. The giant shakes the bag to quiet its contents. Okay. Now we've got the... What are my stat blocks looking here? I need to add more things I need to add, but let me just see. And I'm converting stuff to Troupe also, so I'm going to be ditching the BX sort of thing for my own sort of thing. But I need... All right. What's a good giant name? Well, we got some good. Do we got any giant names? What are some giant names? All right, here we got some giant names. I'm looking for... I don't want to go totally goofy. You know, gigant. A little on the nose. Croco says Gigantos. A little on the nose. I don't know if I want from the Bible. Australian. Chinny Knick. Chinneal, Chinnikinnick, Cormoran, Kimidi, Kimin, ooh. Malor Gower. Gower is cool. Idris Gower. Amphir Leoth Moore. Oh, Bertram. We got the Fomorians. Who's Bertram? Okay, so Bertram de Shotts is known locally as a legendary giant that roamed the village of Shotts in Ireland. Okay, in Scotland, not Ireland. Shotts was then a dreary moorland place on the Great Road of the Shire. The road was an important route. Okay, gripping tales told how a young man named Willielmo de Muirhead, first Laird of Muirhead, killed the giant. With cunning patience, he ambushed Bertram de Shotts, immobilizing him by slicing both his hamstrings as he lay down to drink at a part of the Shottsburn known as Bertram's Well, in then known Salisbury. Okay. Disoriented, Bertram was then decapitated in an unpleasant death. Well. All right. Well, I'll call him Bertram. I'm down with Bertram. All right. So 4 HD is fine. I don't. Oh, well, yeah, it's not. Giant. I don't care about the chaotic right now. One attack via slam. So let's give him some fun attacks. Do I have the dice? I don't have a dice thing here, do I? Nope. All right. I need to. I'm going to create a D6. And I need to change it to the D6 font. Okay. And then I can do 1. No, sorry. I use the 6. Oh, yeah, I gotta fix that. Let's see. No, I need to change the position and transform. Letting override, yeah. Like this. And then do I want to baseline? I thought I kind of liked it at -1. And I think I actually like the size, like to bump it up to 11. There we go. Okay. Okay, attack 1. Mount like fist. And then I don't need to save as 4. Morale. I'm doing morale differently, so I'm only gonna need, say, morale 3. Okay. Bertram the Giant, 4 HD. Guess I don't need to put giant in there since he's a giant. 1 mount like fist. Oh yeah, oh, this will be fun. This will be good. All right, so we'll do 666. Just grabs and tosses you. So essentially, at the beginning of the round, rolling 4 dice. If he gets 3 it'll be well, actually 4 HD. He only needs 5s or 6s. Well, you can go on either 5s. No, hold on. 5s or 6s, 4 HD, 4 5s and 6s, I think. Yeah, he's got a 50% chance to get them, so he can kind of pick you up and just throw you. Okay, but oops, no. Search of the ravine reveals Bertram's lair. Inside is TBD. Okay. That's that one. Now the next one, we got the hidden cave, Quagmire, and the bear. All right, so the hidden cave. Yeah, a stony cut with many shadowed cracks and overhangs. Oh, I suppose I didn't give the children names. Let me come up with a couple of names. Okay. Inside the sack are children. Brixton. Wowen. And let's see, I need one more and some more. There we go. They are mostly unharmed. They are basically unharmed. They are bruised, but otherwise unharmed. Bruised, but otherwise unharmed. Okay. I don't know if I want to bold it or I'll just leave it like that. Okay. Oh my God, what's going on over here? Oh, ShireCon just got a... ShireCon is coming. Yes. Just got the email. I know. I am all too well aware that ShireCon is coming. Okay. Inside search. Okay, so now the hidden cave, a stony cut with many shadowed cracks and overhangs. Which, oh yeah, and what's, I need another name. The child Amal is hidden in one of the many small caves here. Her ankle is sprained. And her voice echoes through the cut, making it difficult to track, difficult to pinpoint her location. Maybe her exact location? Ankle sprained. Her voice, let's say, is thin and weak and echoes through the cut. All right. I don't know that, like, this is one of those things that's always interesting to me. Like, do you feel that you need more of a thing for that? Because this to me now is, okay, what do you do? She's hidden in there. She's hidden somewhere around. You know, spread out, make some things happen. I don't think for myself I need now a whole bunch of other write-up on that. I can just take that and go. I suppose it remains to be seen what other people need. Like, oh, I need this or that. But it's just now it's time to, okay, you got to figure it out, you know, how you want to handle it. Within a copse of dark wood, is a quagmire stuck in it and slowly sinking is the child. Child name. Let me get some more. Need some new names. Let's see. Can't have the word child in their name. Oh, Halmo. That'll work. Halmo. You know, actually, in its center. Halmo. He will vanish below the surface in 3 turns after the party arrives. 3 turns or 3 rounds, 3 exchanges, I should say. Oh, maybe I'll just, actually, there's a better one. He sinks lower after any failed attempt to save him. After 3 failed attempts or turns without attempts, he slips under and drowns. Yeah, you don't really want to do that. You'd like not to not to do that. Oh yeah, in the older body, well preserved. If it is brought to the surface, some kind of critter, some kind of critter. What kind of critter do I have? Do I want? That is the question. Let's see. Will rise as a and I'll give it some treasure. I'll give it some treasure too. I mean, the funny thing is you shouldn't really, you shouldn't be spending time to do this. But I suppose if you do, then you do. All right. 3 plus 2, let's say. Claw-like hand. TBD. Okay. Meyer White, 3 plus 2, attack 1, claw-like hand. What could they have? Infectious vomit. I know that sounds pretty gross, and that's the point. Take 2 strain or become infected with, I don't know what Meyer's sickness is, but I'm putting it in here, with Meyer's sickness. I don't know what that is. I have to figure that out. I need to figure out a style. I need a style guide for this a bit better. I need to style these up. So then let's move. And I'll undo that. Make that's the okay. The Meyer White. It's gonna have some treasure. I mean, this is funny because it's totally something I don't think will happen. But if they this is something, if it dives, if somebody, so here's when this could happen, right? He slips under and drowns. Or here, let me give this drowning in 3 exchanges. It's about 1 minute. Ooh, I don't like that. Exchange is what I'm calling like a combat round. Okay. As a Meyer White. Okay. All right. In the depths of the quagmire is an older body, well preserved, is brought to the surface, will rise as a Meyer White. And this one got the infectious vomit, claw-like hand. All right, so we got the hidden cave, we got the giants. I think we're covered on these now. Questioned. Winston. Just can confirm. Yeah, I don't need this. No, I do need that. Was hardworking, kept themselves. Wednesday wasn't happy and freely bore the marks of accident or clumsiness. It's kind of my code. Okay. All right. I think this is all good. So then I've got I'm going to have to clean up my inciting incident up here. Yep, I know. I think this will work. I think this will work for right now. I mean, I have a lot more to do, but I feel pretty good with what I've got right here, which is that I have a better inciting incident. I get another thing to the mystery. I have something else for the party to do. So the party now, theoretically, will get the call not to go investigate a murder, but to investigate this children's disappearance from the village. So they'll come back. Pretty much got to come back to the village. They can pick up the trail, go into the hills. We can have some time finding these different kids in the hills. If they find, the children who are, I guess I'll have to put a note in here about the children who could tell them essentially, that one child is, they're going to find out that there were 7, but only, they're only going to be able to find 6. And the 7th one is the person of interest, if you will, whose trail it's kind of go cold, but it's going to be leading them, again, if they follow that other trail, it's going to be leading them towards where they need to go anyway, which is Borley Priory. Now, I don't know if I need to change other stuff in here, per se, because in here, you pretty much be going where I want you to go anyway, but now there's a little bit more meat on the bone, I think. Get some extra time clocks you could put in here with these kids, potentially stuff happening to kids. Oh, I didn't do the bear. I did not do the bear. So let me do the bear, and then I will probably call this a stream. I got get ready for folks coming home and whatnot. Okay. The bear. Yeah. Atop a low hill. Hill to a child. All right, give me another child's name. What do we got? Oh, Winky. Oh, little Winky. Whoops. Winky is holding onto a thin tree as a large bear is furiously shakes the base of it, trying to dislodge them. Okay. The bear. All right, let me look. We're going into our handy BX. What would we imagine? What do we imagine a bear's HD to be? Anybody? Anybody out there want to give me a guess? Anybody got a thought? How many HD a bear has? I know there's more than one. I'm not going to pick a cave bear, I don't think. Or wait a minute, there is only one here. Oh, no, that's a boar. Okay, so I'm pretty sure there's 3. And here we go. Oh, 2. No, 4. All right. Okay, so we're going to take... Oh, wow, the lowest one is 4 hit dice. I think I'm going to reduce that to 3. We'll do it a brown bear. Brown bear. 3 hit dice. Attack 1. Claws. Bite. Three. Grab. Yeah. Anyone grabbed is restrained until they escape or the bear suffers strain. Restrainted. I meant restrained. Oh. Okay. And then I don't need those. Actually, I'll do 2 plus. No, I'll do 3. 2 plus 2? Yeah. Do that. 2 plus 2. Okay. All right. I might need to reorder those to make them make sense. Not make sense, but what order do I have them here? I have... Where do I go? I go... Oh, Hidden Cave, Quagmire, Bear. Actually, no, I think that's correct. Hidden Cave, Quagmire, Bear. Hidden Cave, Quagmire, the Bear. All right, cool. All right, well, I'm going to end it here. Thanks for hanging out. Once I have a chance to run this at least one time, which I will do over the weekend, and then we'll see what needs fixing, what needs what, and then maybe I'll be able to get it up onto the usual places, or I will hold off needing more time with it until I get to the next con. Either way, I still have stuff to do, but I'm glad to have added a little more meat on the bones. Hopefully, add some more things for the party to do. Because, like I said, I kind of think last hour for the dungeon and confrontation, which means that if the first hour is intro, getting up to speed in the rules, and kind of the initial investigation, then we have an hour to an hour and a half of going to the investigation spots. And I think this will help flesh out the first, what I'm thinking, what should be the first investigation spot, and give some stuff to do, kind of help get some small wins, give the folks something to do. I'll put in a bit here about the capture, if they kind of the kids can tell them about the one kid who left with the stranger or with the acolyte, which kind of gives them that lead. So yeah, so we'll take it from here. But thanks for hanging out. I'll probably, if I have a chance, if I'm not too blitzed tomorrow, I got to probably be working on it. So you'll see more of this tomorrow. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, night, whenever you end up watching or listening to this. Game on, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye now.